In this video, we're going to go into what sounds good and what might not sound good and why you might want to use it or not use it. So in general, notes that are one note apart in the alphabet are not going to sound especially good together. They're going to have a little bit of crunch, and you need to know when to use them if you want to. So let's look at this measure 2 right here. The notes I have are D, D, A, F sharp, and D. D, F sharp, and A are not close to each other. They are at least one apart. D, we skipped E, F sharp, skip G, and A. D, F sharp, and A make a pleasing chord because they're not next to each other. Let's look at measure 3. We have a G, a B, a G, and a G. Again, none of them next to each other. G, skip A, B. G and B sound good together. Measure 4, we have A, E, A, G, and A. So we have an A and a G that are next to each other. I did that on purpose because it's what's called a dominant seventh chord. It has a seventh in it, and it goes A, skip 1, C sharp, skip 1, E, skip 1, G. But G and A are next to each other, so they clash a little bit, but as long as it doesn't go more than one measure, you might not even notice it. Like, I like the way that sounds. Now let's look at measure 1. I have an F sharp, a G, an A, and an A. That's a pretty crunchy chord because F sharp, G, and A are all right next to each other in the alphabet. I did that on purpose because the violin 2 here switches notes very quickly, and the violin 1 and the viola and the cello actually sound very good together. F sharp, A, and then A, G, and E. So those are our regular chords, and I used the violin 2 to add some tension so that when we get to the second measure here, the pleasing chord sounds even better because there was some tension before it. Let's listen to that first line again so you can hear all those things. So hopefully you heard lots of tension in the first measure, a little bit of tension right here, but it resolved very nicely so that it felt good to the listener. So as you're going through, if you're like, I don't know how that sounds, and you want to try to fix it, you may be able to just look at some of the notes and see if there are any letters that are right next to each other, like an A and a B, or a C and a D, or something like that. And that's going to be where a lot of your tension is coming in. If you would like to learn more about chords and how they fit together and how I chose these notes, continue on to the next video.